Welcome, my fellow passengers. It is good to be connecting and sharing a bit of what we can all relate to. This journey, this unfolding, this trip we called life. We are now into our official Pisces season. While the sun travels through the sign of Pisces beginning February 25th through the spring equinox, March 21st. This is always a time of year that is surreal, dreamlike, beautiful, but also mysterious, strange, and with a sensation of a hanging, a lingering, like a beckoning towards something, like something wonderfully fragrant that has just left the room, but is leaving a lingering scent, a subtle impression, a divine trail. Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, is that most mysterious and enigmatic finger of spirit, inviting us deeper, further, into what we can barely fathom or conceive, the reality of inevitability and surrender. Now, the moments leading up to today and the major theme and experience of February 2021 has been Aquarius. This last weekend, we saw Mercury station direct 9 degrees of Aquarius. This last week, Saturn squared Uranus. It's one of the major transits of 2021. So the energy has been restless, charged. This whole lunar cycle is charged with exciting, busy, groundbreaking, and unpredictable electricity. The last new moon was square to Mars. Now, Mercury stationed direct in Aquarius has also brought a tremendous amount of objective perspective, as well as a huge amount of information coming to us. A ton of information has been streamlined, whether it be downloads, eureka moments, new insights coming from new perspectives, new people, new networks and technology. That can be really be setting the stage for some brand new beginnings. This is what 2021 is all about, folks. We are birthing an entirely new reality. Truly, ready or not. Now, what this is or where it is taking us is completely unknown for the most part. We're all being asked to take a step off of the ledge. Yet the raw working ingredients that's going to be cooking up this new recipe can be coming together. Now enough to recognize a solid direction, to begin forming a plan, but we do need to remain flexible and open to experimentation, to start connecting. Now, Pisces, there's a connecting with other like minds, teammates, as well as the specific dynamics that goes into and makes up our life and our interactions. So there's a lot of feedback coming from people, a lot of mental digestion with Mercury having just stationed direct. And in Aquarius, Mercury is recognizing it isn't as personal as we may have once thought. Maybe it wasn't because we were simply just a failure, that something went wrong or there's an imperfection, but there's actual deeper reasons. The actual things that were missing or the actual interferences that got in the way. It's much more a chemical reaction than we've been led to believe. We're discovering these formulas to our own experiences and our own interactions. It's like A plus B equals C. If this, then that. There's these procedures, there's these synapses that catalyze, that create these chemical type of reactions. So it's not just us being responsible for everything. There are deeper, more intricate dynamics. It is like looking through a microscope or a telescope to see if we add these ingredients or subtract these ingredients, how does it change the overall recipe? We're all mad scientists doing these types of chemical experimentations to discover what are the raw ingredients, what are the chemical reactions, and how does this sequence generate these types of results. Now, something you oftentimes hear me speak to in these videos is the deconditioning of the common New Age ableist philosophy that, hey, you can change it. You can overcome. You are all you need to create an ideal, perfect existence, right? This is what sells like hotcakes in the New Age movement. And it is a steaming hot pile of shit made up by Beverly Hills hippies who do 60 minutes of Bikram yoga and then believe that they are responsible for manifesting the luxurious 5-star dream vacation, car, and home that in actuality is paid for by their rich and privileged husband and his executive job. Okay? So life is not so blanket, simple, or personal that we just manifest our own reality via our own positivity. You can manifest your dreams. You can do it. You can do it. You can. No, really, you can. Oh, you can. Hurry up. This is an ableist philosophy. It's a prejudiced philosophy coming from entitled and privileged people who don't recognize their own privilege. So we can clearly see now, with Mercury stationing direct in Aquarius, what is the actual formula? What are the actual parts of this sequence, of this process, of this experience? Do we have all that we need? Or is there some essential missing ingredients? Well, I have to say, with Saturn just stationed Uranus, this is the year-long transit. There'll be a retrograde square in June, a completing square in December of this year. With this Saturn square Uranus just being introduced and having just kicked off, we can probably say this is where we are all starting from today, realistically speaking. Do we have all the raw ingredients? Do we have all the parts? Do we have everything that we need? Probably not. And that's going to invite some future restructuring, some future experimentation to see that we can change this situation. And it's not just from the ableist, delusional, idealistic, but getting into the nitty-gritty details. Okay, what is the actual missing ingredients? What is the work that is required? Who are the people that are required? What is the insight, the education, etc.? These are the practical step-by-steps to getting to manifesting our dreams by actually addressing reality, addressing the complexity of reality, and consciously applying the work where we need to. We all have work to do. And that's in a highly unique and personal way. It will be different for each and every one of us. Now, the good news is, for those of us who have been getting pushed through the mill, this has been the real experience. January, February 2021, I have witnessed so much collective catharsis, suffering, pain. This is real suffering and pain. These are very challenging and dark times. People are getting pushed beyond their limits, and we therefore need to be very caring for ourselves, others, and really show up for one another. But good news for those of you who have been pushed through the mill or meandering through sleepless and confused nights or reverberating between being a lightning rod and burnt toast. Things are settling down a bit in these coming weeks. Though things are sure to stay pretty weird, surreal, strange, dreamlike. This is Pisces time. We see Venus exalted in Pisces, February 25th through the spring equinox. That's March 21st. So this is very romantic, Venus in Pisces, spiritual, big love, heart of compassion, going with the flow, rose-tinted glasses, flowers coming up in springtime. Pisces is this magical season every year. It kind of foreshadows spring. There's this dreaming, there's this hope. There is what can be naivety, but there is this beauty that we can tune into. It's romantic, it's spiritual. This is fantasy, dreams. We're dreaming our future. Now, we do need to be wary of Venus in Pisces. You know, last year when I dreamt a great dream with some people that I know with Venus in Pisces, I ended up feeling pretty betrayed and stabbed in the back afterwards. So we do have to be wary of the rose-tinted glasses. We do have to be wary of getting swept off our feet. And we need to have a balance between dreaming and the practical step-by-steps, what we're actually doing in the world and how we can actually get this all off of the ground. Especially this year, while during Pisces season, we see the ruler of Pisces, that's Neptune, square to the moon's nodes. Okay, so this really brings up Pisces themes that need to be resolved. There can be shadow Pisces dynamics, escapism, denial, fantasy, hopelessness, meaninglessness, addiction, escapism. Pisces is the ultimate void. Pisces is the final alpha, omega, beyond our understanding, beyond all mind and logic. And Pisces is the sign of all meaning. It's the root, the beginning of everything, as well as meaninglessness. Pisces is too inconceivable to be one or the other thing. Pisces is everything. Pisces is God and the absence of God. It is the spiritual connection and fulfillment and the experience of disconnection, aimlessness, treading water in the middle of the ocean, a sense of there being no purpose or point in life. This is a collective experience now with Neptune square the node, something I've been speaking to well through this last 6 months. So we have to discern, is this real? We're on a journey of a search for meaning. That is what the experience of meaninglessness or emptiness or purposelessness is. Is this not a search for meaning? So this is what we're all on at this time. This is the marked theme for all of us this time around. Perhaps you are like me, leaving behind an idealistic relationship, an idealized spiritual faith that led to loss, heartbreak, disillusionment. So we are left reeling. What is love? What really matters? Who is God? What's the point of life? How do we have that sense of connection? If previously when I had that sense of connection, was it real? Was it true? Is there such a reality? Now, if we can embrace this experience, despite the authentic suffering, the authentic heartbreak. We live in a world of authentic suffering. This disqualifies the ableist philosophy of the secret and these bullshit positive manifestation. You can create your own reality. All that does is take all of the poor and suffering in the world and put the blame on them. And then we also put the blame on ourselves when we don't manifest our positive future. I read The Secret for Kids. It was in a Whole Foods. I couldn't believe what I was reading. A story about a little boy who loses his dog and uses positive manifestation to bring his dog back home. Any child that reads The Secret for Kids, if their dog runs away, they're going to blame themselves when they don't have the incredible godlike power to create their own reality and to make their long-lost dog, their puppy, come back home. This is not real life. We don't get to choose a life free of pain and suffering when pain and suffering exists for very good reasons. And that's what we're exploring. What are the authentic suffering? What is missing? And how can we provide that for ourselves, for others, to get a real sense of connection, to get a real sense of feet tapped to the ground? And there are things that we're all missing. We're all looking for support. We're all looking for connection. We're all looking for love. That's Neptune. We need love in whatever way allows us to be ourselves. Love allows us to be our nature, to be on our own individual journey. Love allows for us to learn through having mistakes. We're allowed to trip over our shoelaces when we're in an environment where we are loved. This is something that we all need. This is all something that we're looking for at this time. But if we can embrace the authentic suffering, if we can embrace the experience of heartbreak, the experience of loss, if we can embrace the necessary phase and experience of spiritual disillusionment, we will come to recognize these as the most important and integral steps and phases to unfolding into true love, true union, true surrender and connection through acceptance of the process of life. The process of life is not clean, pretty, easy, or simple. It's messy, it's complex, it's multifaceted, it's multidimensional, and that's why we cut ourselves slack, because we're human beings. We have limited perspective, we have limited experiences. We have to be forgiving and accepting of our actual nature, as well as realistically accept, therefore embrace, and therefore be capable of forgiving the imperfections of humanity, our parents, prior generations. It is not meant to be another way. Even when we cannot always see where life is leading us, if we can accept the process of life, this is Pisces. Pisces is that we will be led into experiences and directions that don't make sense to us. And yet it is a part of the process of our own unfolding, ultimately and inevitably. Pisces is the reality that the seed will become the springtime flower that will unfold in its own rate and pace, in its own appropriate season. It's the springtime when the flower unfolds in its fullest beauty and fragrance. Similarly, we are surrendering to our own process of unfolding, and there are parts of this process that are more challenging. There are areas where we need to rectify and revise, where our roots are growing around the rocks, when we're determining if we're getting too much or little sunshine, fertilizer, the raw ingredients that we need to assist this journey of unfolding. But it's also not one that we have total control of. Pisces is ultimate surrender. We don't have the capability to create a reality for ourselves or other people. When we share this reality with so many other people, this is a collective experience. We have to work together. We have to be on the same page in order to have a team that is working in a constructive direction. That's what we can all be aligning with these days. There's a lot of opportunity to be sowing a seed for this. It's an auspicious time for new connections, networks, friendships, and networking. This is a time to meet like minds. It's a time for us to connect with those that share our values, our dreams, our vision, our hope. This is where we form our new community, our new group, our new church, our new coven. This is what becomes the foundation for the future, even if it is not totally manifest in the three-dimension obvious world. It's in the connection with meaning and purpose, and having the support and having the diversity of different opinions and perspectives and medicines and feedback. That's how we can get all of this off of the ground. So I encourage us, use this Pisces season, dream a great dream, tune into your heart, allow the psychedelic journey of life to unfold in deeper and deeper levels of meaning, and submerge into that meaning. Get into the taste, the fragrance of life. But also we must be careful to not get too forceful or too hung up on a particular outcome or a particular direction, because what we end up doing is shortcutting our own depth. We end up deceiving ourselves out of our authentic process. Our authentic process is going to lead us all over the place, into experiences that we do not want to have, into places that we'd rather not go. And yet it is a necessary part of our life and our journey and unfolding. Not to say that we're okay with the abuse or we're okay with the pain or the suffering, but to learn and grow by having these actual lived experiences. We do have to surrender to that ultimate aspect of life where we don't have control of everything. But when we surrender to our own authentic process, this is where the journey becomes easier. It becomes more effortless. We find ourselves being carried. It's beginning like a trust fall. We have to make this trust fall backwards, and it's scary, and we don't know if there's anything there that's going to catch us. But if we are being tuned into our heart, if we are honoring and respecting love, which is not something that we can just write a book about or scientifically study or analyze. It is mysterious, it is inconceivable, but we are learning what that is. We're learning to trust that. We're learning to tune into that. And that's where this trust fall becomes a lazy man's river that can hold us, that can carry us forward, even if we don't know where the final destination is. This is the process of life, and we're learning to accept and open up to this full spectrum process, this full spectrum healing. During this Pisces season with Neptune square the nodes, we need to be aware of boundaries. Honor your sensitivities. Create healthy distance and relation to the chaos, the confusion, the bullshit, the car salesman, the trickery going on out there in the collective, the mainstream media, the news. We really need to be aware of how that can impress and influence us. It can make us crazy. It can make us lose a tether to reality. So we need boundaries between us and the chaos going on out there in the world, especially these days. We have to develop trust. Trust is another theme with Neptune Pisces. Who do we trust? What do we trust? Maybe some of this analytical objectivity of Aquarius, the chemical reaction, is giving us some formulas. When to be open, when to be closed. We're all learning to work with the filtration system these coming weeks. We can be exploring what truly fulfills us versus what covers up from a true sense of fulfillment or distracts from living a fuller, richer, and more meaningful existence. And if we feel a lack of living a meaningful existence, it means that we're on a search for meaning. That is the most bottom line, highlighted spiritual thing that there is. We're lost and we're on a search for meaning. So this is the journey to embrace. This is the journey of the mystic. Now we must speak to our coming full moon in Virgo this weekend, the 27th. It's a very powerful and cathartic full moon. The full moon illuminates a yod between the heavyweights, Saturn and Chiron, and also aligns with the asteroids Lucifer and Vesta, the bearers of the light and the keepers of the flame. This is a potently healing and humbling full moon. The theme is the recognition and acceptance of the imperfections of life, so to become simultaneously empowered through the action of rectification, improvement. This is evolution. This is all I'm constantly referring back to through my observations, my work, and my own spiritual journey, is that evolution is the baseline of life all experience. This is truly what life is all about. This is also the hidden blessing of Virgo. We are imperfect beings in an imperfect world where it's not an ideal, complete, all is wonderful bliss and set and done. No. Because we live in imperfect bodies and imperfect circumstances in an imperfect world with imperfect relationships, there is a hidden blessing that because things are not already perfect today, they are incomplete. There is something missing, but in that something missing, there is a hidden blessing, which is that things can improve. We can bring in more. We can develop, we can learn, we can grow. So the hidden blessing of imperfection is that this reality rests upon a principle of evolution. Because things are not already finished and completed today, we live in a reality that can constantly improve. Things get better and better and better eternally. That's the hidden blessing in imperfection. This is the wisdom, the mystery of the Virgo-Pisces polarity. This is the polarity at the root of all creativity, all healing, and all channeling. So there are many hidden blessings, even in the catharsis, the pain, the challenges that is possible to be illuminated under this full moon. That said, we would do very well in this cathartic, painful experience to be our own support team alchemically, transmutating any shame or any inadequacy. That's the shadow of Virgo. We're not perfect. I must be wrong. The Garden of Eden myth, oh no, we're naked. There's something wrong with us. There's something wrong with our nature, So we can transmutate any shame or inadequacy, the grist through the mill, into integrity, humility, committance, devotion. These are the most important and integral qualities for spiritual life. The foundation for all spiritual life is Virgo. High octave Virgo is devotional service. We're not here to get it perfect. We're just here to hone in more and more, gradually, like a potter at the wheel, just shaping until we hone in. This is my service. This is the nature that I was born into. It's easy and effortless. It's fulfilling for me, and it's a service. It provides something back to the world and others. When we find our unique, God-given devotional service, which is to honor our nature, which is to honor how and why we're born human, that's where we find our truest, greatest fulfillment. It's truly not a vacation life. It's truly not about being positive, happy, and fulfilled all the time. What shallow, superficial distractions from leading a life of service. The Bible quote is that it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven. This is Virgo wisdom. You have to be smaller than a mustard seed to enter into the kingdom of heaven. This is a reference about humility. Humility, by the way, doesn't mean that we're trying to eradicate our ego. Another big New Age misconception is that our ego is bad, our ego is wrong. We should be not having a sense of identity or our own selfish desires. Our selfish desires is a part of our service. It's a part of our life. Sacrificing our ego tends to be a very narcissistic type of behavior. So it's not getting rid of our ego, it's using our ego in some type of service. This is how we develop humility. We don't have to do it all by ourselves. This is another narcissistic tendency in the New Age movement. I can tune into the secret or whatever guru says I have godlike beings if I say the right prayer, do the right ritual, or say the right things. It's a burden on our shoulders. We need other people. The most powerful prayer in magic is with others. And we need people on a similar wavelength as us, like minds, shared dreams, shared goals, in order to have that powerful group magic and Sankirtan and medicine and healing. It's amplified when we connect and share it with others. That's our service. That's using our ego in order to have a lived experience, have a lived life. Learn and improve through our failures. It's not failure. It's feedback. That's the wisdom of Virgo. You're not meant to get it perfect. We're meant to get here, trip over our shoelaces, fall on our face, and pick ourselves up time and time again. This is where we can hold a candle for our own healing process, and in so doing, illuminate the path of the healer and the gifts and medicines coming out of our own life process. Coming out of the mortar and pestle, crushing the herbs into releasing the medicinal essence. That's the yod between this full moon, Chiron, and Saturn. It's time to adjust. It's time to evaluate. Like when our arm falls asleep, Virgo wakes us up to it. Virgo wakes us up to what is no longer working. Hey, alert system, blood is not reaching your arm. That's going to feel uncomfortable, but that discomfort is what wakes us up to some, what could be a lot more considerably, damaging or, unhealthy. We want to keep the blood going through our body. Pain and suffering is just the Virgo alert system saying, hey, something needs to be adjusted. So let's direct healing awareness to where there's pain and suffering. This is where healers go. This is where teachers go. Wherever there's pain and suffering, we don't say, hey, figure that shit out. We go into it. What do you need? How can I help you? And we do this inwardly to ourselves. This is even our own bodily setup. This is Virgo. It's an energy system, our body. It's all connected. Pisces. It's all in communication with itself to make sure we can operate as a whole. Virgo Pisces polarity. So we need to hold up a candle to our own healing process and be careful not to self-flagellate. Again, the New Age is notorious for encouraging this. Eden is wrong. You ought to be, Adam and Eve are wrong for their nakedness. You ought to be perfect. Ableist philosophy says, yes, you can. Now again, this full moon is conjoined with the asteroids Vesta and Lucifer in Virgo. This can really, really dial up, particularly Lucifer, the experience of downfall. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Please. I am a wretch. And if we have any iota, tinge of this experience, I'm going to say, well, I'm right there with you. Me and every other human being. We're all wretches. We're all in this together. We are humans. We're not supposed to get it right off the bat. We're here to fail. It's meant to be imperfect, and truly it's feedback, not failure. This is how we learn, grow, and evolve. This path, this life of falling down and picking ourselves up time and time again, is how we encounter and discover every treasure and gem along the way. It is the spiritual journey. Make no mistake. Which is truly the only journey there is. That kind of takes the choice out of it, in the long term at least. This is the practice to embrace. And for those who have been through the ringer enough times to gain an appreciation of it and the process of sacrifice to grow a beautiful garden, to create a beautiful recipe, this is the taste that we've developed. This is the taste for a good burn in a healthy workout. A cornucopia of healing ointments and medicines can be released through embracing this pummeling, this mortar and pestle, this grist in the mill. We are the gift. That essence is the greatest joy that we give to ourselves, and our own self-recognition, our own pats on the back, our own forgiveness is what allows us to get there. As always, I stand with you. My heart goes out to each and every one of you in your own healing journey, in your own journey of self-discovery, in your own journey of embracing and forgiving this this experience that we all share called life. Folks, I am very, very excited to be announcing a brand new community coming soon. This was my Mercury Station Direct experience. I'm going to have a new website, rasalilawisdom.com. This is going to be like a combination of Facebook, Teachable, and a chat room where you're going to be able to purchase my courses. You're going to be able to enroll in the Astro School, but it's also going to be a community of like minds to connect and share with other people. There's going to be opportunities to teach and share what you love to, put out there in the world. And there's going to be, just some fun, lighthearted chat room. People forming their own clubs, people can form their own circles, all within this greater community. So this is just getting started. I'll be putting some future announcements out there, but I want to share this to get you all excited that we've got the rasalilawisdom.com website and a brand new community where it's not just going to be astrology. Rasalila Healing was meant to be a community of healers, where there is a holistic bridging and sharing of different modalities to get us back to nature, to get us to healing. And it's something that we can be very enjoyable, something that we really get to share, celebrate. So I'm sincerely very, very excited. And if you are interested, feel free to get in touch. You can email me. I'll provide some links below. But again, stay tuned because there'll be more info on this just around the corner. As always, wishing you all the very best. Take care.